not going to sugarcoat it. Already in 2024, there was a projected recession. What's been keeping us afloat was an injection of capital into the American monetary system. And even though interest rates have been slowly easing, there's still considered a massive recessionary adjustment in the coming years, not to mention the war with Ukraine or Taiwan or now in Israel. Personally, like we've lost 45% of our clientele base. The second fund that we were looking to raise for fell through as well, with 95% of the capital community leaving. But there will always be a time to go back to civilian life. Now it's a time to stand up for what's right. So I'm not worried. During times of strife, there's always ways about coming back and readjusting. I do want to encourage people to go back and not feel guilty for having a good time. I want them to go back to stores, and I want them to go back to living their lives as normal, because there's a secondary terrorizing pain. I mentioned in the past, if you take the 1,200 killed and the 200 originally 240 hostages and the 3,000 injured, and the additional 400 IDF soldiers killed, comes out to 4,740 totally affected individual civilians. Of the 7,150,000 Jews in Israel, that makes up 0.066% to begin with, which means that the primary pain is relatively nominal when compared to the psychological and economic pain. So if we don't go out and begin coming back to our lives as normal, as whatever that new normal might be, then we might have economic problems down the line. Every time they send up $100 or $500 Scud missile, which can be made from the fuel that's being brought in through aid, we send up a $250,000 counter missile, which means we're losing roughly $249,000 every counter missile we're shooting up. It's a long game that we're playing, and it's an economic game that we're playing. It's a geopolitical game that we're playing. And in order to win this war, we need to make sure that we are fighting on all fronts. And that means in the OF as well,